All right. What's going on, everybody? Let me just mute. There we go. We should be good to go. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another edition of this weekly live stream. Here we are, fresh on a Sunday, right around 2 p.m., I believe, 2:35 p.m. So I'm a little late. I apologize for that. I've been getting some technical issues sorted out on my end. We're just going live here on TikTok as well and getting everything going here on YouTube also. So let me know in the chat where you guys are from, what your astrology sign is, and what is it you're here for today. That's the most important thing. Is I want to know why you guys showed up today, what you guys are looking for, and what it is that I can provide for you, if nothing else, to give you an amazing experience. We have so many people already in the chat engaging and excited to be here. Sober Girl 1111, welcome. It's good to have you here. I think Sober Girl joined in the live last week or 2 weeks ago, and she's been an amazing fan ever since. So welcome. We've got Heather here, Libra Sun with the Leo Moon. First time watching live from Santa Cruz, California. Yes, welcome. We've got Aisha. Hi, everyone. We've got Lucia, of course. Hi, Lucia. Good to have you here. We've got Heather. And we've got Mend Every Mind, which is my good friend Mora. More on Mend Every Mind in a little bit. But it's amazing, so amazing to have you guys here. Before we even get started, I just want to make sure, of course, if there's any microphone issues or audio issues or visual issues, you guys can let me know always. But I just want to officially welcome everyone here. I'm so excited to be doing this live and in person with you guys. And I'm so grateful, too, for all of you guys deciding to take some time out of your Sunday and to hop on here. Truly, it means the world to me. And it helps me to feel encouraged and supported in doing what I love to do most. So welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. And let's go ahead and dive into the agenda for today. I want to get more straight to the point here so that you guys can get the value you came for. The agenda for today, what we're going to be doing, I am going to be taking questions along the way. So if you guys have questions and it's a good question and we believe that everyone can benefit from that question, we'll definitely be taking that, and I'll be reading it publicly, and I'll be doing the best I can to sort it out. But the general agenda is for today to go into open the ceremony, of course, calling in my guides, angels, loved ones, masters, and wise ones, as well as those from the collective in love and in life, to help give our collective audience the messages they need to hear for their highest good and their highest healing, and to help them step into their soul purpose. Because, of course, if you guys have been here, if you're new here, my name is Brandon Tobias. I run this channel, Signs of the Soul and Stars, and our mission here at Signs of the Soul and Stars is to guide you in the areas of love and in life through daily and weekly horoscope readings, because we believe love is the most powerful catalyst to growth and transformation and helping you step into your soul purpose. So that's why we're here. That's how I got started. And the exciting thing about these lives here is that they are all right off the top. Okay, there is really not much planning going on. Okay, I put on a nice gray t-shirt. I got the microphone. I got the camera all set up. But besides that, I have no idea what is going to come through today, what messages we need to hear. Truly, I'm here in this experience with you guys. And I'm just going to do my best to channel whatever messages that want to come through for all of our highest good, okay? So it's an exciting time, and again, I appreciate you being here. If you're new here, of course, and you want to get those daily and weekly updates and join the Soul family, most importantly, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you. And do me a favor, if you do find this video impactful at some point during the video, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps this channel and this video grow so we can guide more people. What's going on, TikTok? Welcome. Everyone on TikTok. Big shout out over here. Okay, we got YouTube and TikTok live simultaneously. You guys on your platforms have been the most supportive by far of my endeavor. So I appreciate it. Every single one of you guys. Okay. Sober Girl says, my voice and lips are a second off, but no biggie. Oh my gosh. Interesting. Hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Or hopefully it clears up a little bit. If not, if it's too annoying, let me know in the chat, and I'll take a look at the tech stuff. But hopefully it should be okay here with the audio and the visuals here. Let me just check out the stream. Make sure we're doing okay there. Looks like we're okay. If you guys do say like, oh, it's a pretty big issue, it's annoying us, just let us know. Okay. All right, cool. I didn't do anything. I think hopefully it was just luck or serendipity. All right. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. As you guys know, we're going to open the ceremony, call in the guides, call in your guides, call in everyone that we need to get our highest messages for our highest good. Then we're just going to straight up do some channeled messages. Again, I have no idea what's going to come through, but hopefully for our highest good in love and in life. Okay. Then we're going to go straight into a channeled tarot reading. We're going to be using the Thoth Tarot deck today. Okay. The first reading that we do is really a expansion and a clarification of the channeled message that comes through first and foremost. And it could have to do with love or life, but generally it's the highest, most important messages that we need to know, whether they are in love or in life, right? They come through during this first reading. Then we're going to be diving straight into the astrology. Okay, so let me show you guys here. I do have the chart up and ready to rock and roll. So this will be the second part of the reading, of course, getting into the actual astrology charts for the week ahead. For the most important messages that you guys need to know according to the stars. And then, of course, we're going to finish up, if we have time and energy, of course, which I usually do, for a collective love reading at the end. And maybe some individual questions if you guys want to do some super chat and individual readings live here on air. All right? So let me just check the chat comments, make sure everything's good. And then, of course, we've got 22 concurrent viewers and a chat rate of 2. We've got the 222 showing up. But let me check the chat, make sure everything's good. If everything's good, we're going to open the ceremony and get right into it. Again, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in. Chloe says, hello. Chloe's a Virgo sun, Saggy moon from North Carolina. Sober Girl says she loves the channeling at the beginning too. Thank you, Sober Girl. It's a little unnerving for me, but I'm glad you love it. Heather says, I love your opening ceremony channelings. Thank you so much. That does seem to be popular. That's so interesting. Sober Girl says, I'm just looking for positive vibes in my life. I walked away from my relation in 2020. Your lips are second on your voice. Samsara, I'm a believer for son from Switzerland. Well, we got people from all over the place. That's amazing. Mart Prods, hello there. First time for them as well. Okay. Really, Riley says, hello, you're awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's been amazing. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, huh? All right. Here we go. Officially opening the ceremony now, calling in my guides, my angels, my loved ones, my masters, and wise ones, as well as archangels. Archangel Michael, the energy of Jesus Christ, the energy of Mary Magdalene, to help guide this love and life reading specifically for the collective, for their highest good, and the messages that they need to know right now for the week ahead in love and in life. Also calling in the guides and angels responsible for this collective, calling them into this reading now in order to deliver any messages or insights of importance that my collective audience needs to know now or in the future for their highest good and their highest healing at this time. Thank you so much for the guidance. The ceremony is now open. All right, let's go ahead and check in for the channel messages, see what comes through. It is time to fly. Make no mistake. The weight has been lifted. And now it is time to fly higher than ever. We want you to allow your wings to spread. For now is the time with no restrictions, no fear, no hesitation, no burden or weight left to drag you down. Whatever it is you've been denying for yourself, whatever freedom you have felt has been out of your grasp, is now well within your grasp and highly, highly accessible. We want you to know that this is accessible through the feelings you can tap into in your body now at this time and in the future. Tapping into the feeling of freedom, of openness, of exuberance, and pure joy will allow you to move forward and feel in a way that you've never felt before. There's a lightness that's come into your energy and your aura that if you can recognize and feel and tap into, it will carry you with high speed and velocity where you need to go. And by the way, as I'm saying this, this is me talking now, I see someone on the back of an eagle, literally an eagle, okay, a bald eagle, flying high. Literally, I can see the wings flapping and everything, just flying through, okay? There's nowhere left to go right now besides going higher. There are no more limits that exist for you right now unless you allow them to come back in. Where you're going right now in your life is a special, special place that you are being allowed to access because of the journey and because of the path that you've been on up to this point that have, from your perspective, held you back or placed a weight or burden upon you. It is this work and this preparation and this journey that you've been on that will and has allowed you to fly as high as you are flying now or getting prepared to go. There's nothing stopping you now, young ones. Fly high and release all limitations. Step into your freedom and dance with the winds of change. Wow. 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 You know what's so crazy about that? So I kept getting just the whole time, like flying high on an eagle, higher and higher and higher, farther and farther and farther. The feeling of lightness, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of like just not an emptiness, but an emptiness of an extra weight or burden or responsibility that's been let go of, like just shifted instantaneously. It's almost like someone came along and took that weight from your back, right? It is now allowing you to go fly. Like this feeling of a shift here that happened. It's almost like if you guys remember last week, we were kind of in that transitional state in the bubble, right? The protected bubble kind of floating around, and Spirit was asking us to release the burdens, right? That was weighing us down, and the belief systems that would have limited us from reaching the other side. Well, now those things have been removed. If you guys have allowed, of course, which I know if you're watching this, you have, right? If you guys have allowed these things to be removed from you and persevered as you have, okay? Now, that's not to say that everyone's quote-unquote made it over to the other side just yet. There might be some people still coming along. But for those of you guys, I believe, watching, it's really a time where there are no more, and there's no more of a need for those self-imposed restrictions or limitations that were burdening us before from moving as fast and moving forward in a way that allows us to feel that sense of fun and freedom and enjoyment and peace as well while you're doing it that hasn't been here in a long, long time. Okay? So Spirit really was asking, okay, because the winds of change are really upon us. I mean, a big shift. I don't know if you guys can feel that today. If you really tap in, there's something that's different. There's something that changed. There's something that's shifted quite a bit. And it's a release. It's a release of weight. It's a release of burden. It's a release of something that was really holding us back and away from being with and flying as high as we possibly can. Now, that's not to say that whatever was weighing us down in the past was bad in any way. Absolutely not. Quite the contrary. In fact, I truly believe in what I felt was that it was just really a matter of timing. It was really just a matter of timing. Like we were meant to be carrying that weight, that burden, whatever it was that you felt was weighing you down or maybe still is, in order to prepare us. It's almost like weight training. You guys ever hear like martial artists where they have weighted clothes? And the reason they have weighted clothes is so that when they actually get into game time, they can just fly. That's exactly what I feel is happening today and this week ahead. It's like we've been weighted down purposefully, okay, by something, some situation, someone, whatever it is. And today is the day that it's finally released energetically, the burden of it at least, so that we can really, truly move forward and fly in the way that we've been intending or feeling like we need to fly. Today is the shift. Absolutely. I should have named this the shift. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you guys are feeling this. All right, because it's a very exciting energy. And, the advice was, if you're not feeling this, right, if you're not resonating with this, Spirit is saying the opportunity is there for you to be able to feel that, right? There is an area within you, if you can become present and aware of it, of lightness, of freedom, and of the release of something that was for the past, I feel, few months, few weeks, good period of time, good cycle of time. I'm seeing the World card pop into my mind, right? Like there's just been this cycle that has really just shifted. That was a lot of a burden. That was a lot of weight, and it was really a tough time. Okay. And that is available now. Once becoming aware of it and tapping into that freedom energy, that lightness, to be able to release, to let go of. Okay. As if someone came in, swooped in, and took off the weight. And that's what you got to allow right now. And if there's something holding you back from releasing that burden, if you are still feeling heavy, if you're still feeling like there's this weight on you that you can't shake off, what I'm hearing right now is you have to allow it. You have to allow it to be released. The reason why it hasn't been released is because it hasn't been allowed, okay, by you for it to be fully released. Okay? So allow that to happen. Tap into the lightness that exists within you. Allow the winds of change to blow through and to shift things dramatically. And allow yourself to really feel the essence of lightness, of freedom, and of flying high. High and higher than you've ever dreamed of before. Because right now is the time. Right now is the time. Okay? Okay, what a heck of a start. Amazing channel message here that came through. It's always inspiring for me to hear these things. Absolutely. Checking in with the comments we got. Okay, I definitely feeling this. Sober, I need to meditate more. Mel self-love. I'm still learning my self-worth. Awesome. I wish I could take one or two loved ones with me, though. Yeah. Yeah, and then it wasn't easy to get to that point. I'm reading the comments. No, it really was not. It has not been easy to get to this point. And that's the thing, right, is that part of the lesson, okay, is that I feel a lot of us watching this have been carrying the weight of other people. Really, honestly, carrying the weight of other people upon our shoulders, upon our backs, because we are so loving, so caring, so giving, so generous, right? That we've decided to take on the weight of other people, other energies, other situations, and carry it literally on our backs and be like, okay, I guess we got to take this on. And it's not a bad thing. I don't want to say it's a bad thing because it's been part of our training, right? Again, think of the weighted clothes that martial artists wear. It's been part of our training as light workers, okay? To be able to see how much weight we can take before we break. And if you're here watching this right now, guess what? You haven't broken. You are still alive. You are still kicking. And guess what? You are stronger and better than ever. And whatever lies ahead of you, you can take. Because of these past few months, because of the burden you've been carrying, and because of the weight that you've been tested by Spirit and your life path to hold onto. But I'm telling you right here and right now today, the big shift has happened and you no longer need to carry that weight. That is what I'm feeling. The big release, okay? Now shifting, all right, so that you can truly fly higher. And by the way, if it weren't for the weight that you've been carrying this whole time, the training clothes that you've been wearing, you wouldn't be able to fly as high as you're about to fly right now. Okay? And when I say fly high right now, I'm talking about literally today. Okay? Literally today is the shift has happened. And I woke up feeling this. I woke up feeling like, I don't know what happened. Something's different. Something's lighter. I didn't change anything. It was just different. Right? How many of you guys have felt this or are feeling this? Okay? So it's time. It's absolutely time to fly as high as you possibly can, to let go, right? To release the training clothes, to release the weight of loved ones, no matter how much you do love them. Okay? And know that just because you release them or you release situations that you've been holding on to, it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't care for them. It doesn't mean that you don't want the best for them. But what you do know is that now at this point, currently, presently, the best thing for them and the best thing for you is to release that extra weight, to allow them to carry it for themselves so that they can grow and that you can fly as high as you possibly can and release the training wheels. Does this make sense to everyone? All right. All right, good. Archangel Michael is here. Archangel Michael is here. Archangel Michael wants you to know, by the way, he's one of my primary guides. I love, he is, by the way, involved in this story, this love story, because you guys know I'm talking about someone here in your life. Archangel Michael's here. He's responsible for guiding this love story, okay? But remember, Archangel Michael's energy is one of strength, one of the warrior mentality, one of releasing and letting go of anything that's not really here to benefit you for your life and your soul journey and your soul path. And the lessons, if you're part of this collective watching this with me and you are resonating with this, and Archangel Michael is your guide as well, well, guess what? Because he's your guide, he's putting you through lessons that are making you stronger as a person, more of a warrior of a person, and more authentically aligned with yourself as a warrior of light in this world on your life path. Okay? And he's doing that through love, by the way. He's doing that through love. And that is why here at Science of the Soul and Stars, we believe love is the greatest catalyst. To growth and transformation and stepping into your soul purpose, because it is. And particularly for this collective that we're here for, Science of the Soul and Stars, you guys watching on TikTok, here on YouTube Live, that we're here to guide for. All right, so if you're new here, definitely, right, and you're resonating with this, welcome. Okay, welcome. All right, whether it's a twin flame, whether it's a beloved relationship, whether it's a soulmate, love situation, all right, love is for your greatest purpose, to help you step into your greatest purpose, catalyze your growth. All right, let's go ahead and get into the channel tarot reading. And I really felt I wanted to get back to basics today. So I wanted to go back to the Universal Worth Tarot. We're going to be doing this one for the love reading at the end, but we're going to start with the Thoth deck, because I just felt really strongly like we needed to use this deck. All right, let's go for it. All right, Spirit Guides, loved ones, Masters, Wise Ones, please allow us to perceive any messages for our highest good in love and in life, for the week ahead, for the collective audience watching now and in the future, collective audience watching on TikTok Live and YouTube Live right now and in the future, watching this video. What messages do we all need to know for our highest good at this time? Please allow us to perceive these messages through the tarot here in my hands. All right. Chronic card, we have the moon popping up. I'm not surprised at all at this one. Okay. So, along with the channeled message, okay, about releasing something, someone, right, feeling free, being able to fly high, this is an energy of uncertainty that we're in right now, okay? As I'm speaking about this, the only fear that may pop up for you guys is that of uncertainty, of if I go in this certain direction, if I release the weight that's been holding me back, if I release a certain person, if I release a certain situation, I don't know how it's going to turn out, and I don't know if it's for my highest good. The moon card shows up. We are in an energy of uncertainty. But the message here is that this energy of uncertainty is normal. This energy of uncertainty is actually healthy at this moment in time. And if you can learn to trust and move forward in strength and confidence through this energy of uncertainty right now with the moon card, that will lead you to your highest good no matter what. So we are asking you, right, Archangel Michael, myself, we're asking you to trust and to step forward into the darkness. You know, just that song. I forgot who it's by, but it's I think it's called "I Will Follow You into the Darkness." I will follow you into the dark. I don't know if you guys by Death Cab for Cutie. Death Cab Cutie. It goes love of mine, no, 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 something like that. I will follow you into the darkness. I don't know if you guys know that song. Let me know if you do in the chat. But that's what I just thought of, really trusting and going into the dark. I actually had this. I went for a run late at night. I'm here in Marina Del Rey in California, and it was super foggy. And the path I was on, this was about 2 nights ago, and I knew this was going to come back up in the live reading. It was completely fogged out. I'm talking like couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, no lights at all, and it was down this path of like the cement path. I couldn't see where it was going. Right, I knew where it went. Right, I knew where it went because I've run it a million times in the daylight. But when I went out there, it was just really, really dark, unknown, a little creepy. Okay, I didn't know if there was going to be people coming at me on the other side. And I'm running and I'm running and I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm fearful. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come out. I don't know what it's going to be. And as I'm running into the darkness, each step further along into the unknown, into not knowing where the heck I'm going, where it will lead, or if anyone's going to be coming at me or whatever is going to happen, the most interesting thing happened, and that is that I started to gain more confidence. And I started to get into this flow state that I'd never really felt before, this confidence, this excitement, and this flow state through running and walking into the unknown, into the darkness, not knowing where I'm going, but trusting unequivocally that I would be safe and that I would find out with clarity the answers I needed to know. And here we are, literally, or metaphorically, actually. But I had that literal experience. Maybe you guys are having that experience as well, where you just don't know what the heck's going to happen. Everything's uncertain, and that is exactly what we should be feeling right now. And that's kind of the test of it all. We have the Knight of Swords here. The Knight of Swords. Okay. So this is information. This is information and the need to gather information, the need to have clarity, but the need really to communicate as well. I'm sensing what I'm sensing is an urgency and a need to communicate, the urgency and the need to talk, the urgency and the need to speak, right, in a fierce way, a brave way, a courageous way, whatever it is your truth is. Okay, it makes sense here. We'll talk about the astrology in a second. North Node in Gemini, 212 playbacks on the OBS. 212 has been showing up nonstop. This is about our spiritual work. This is about our need to communicate through and with our spiritual work. Okay, this is the need to communicate our spiritual truth. Now, if you don't like the word spiritual, take that away. All right, a lot of you guys may like the word spiritual. Some people don't. They think it has a connotation that's not aligned with them. That's okay. If you don't like the word spiritual, put in whatever you feel aligned with in your body, in your mind, in your soul. All right. The need to speak that out and to be that, an urgency in that. And even with the unknowingness of not knowing how it's going to turn out or what's going to happen because of that. Okay. We have adjustment coming out. Okay. Part of this has to do with our karmic work coming to the surface right now. Okay. What I'm really feeling, and this is more of a societal state right now, is that part of the work we're doing karmically in order to come back into balance is people actually speaking out, communicating out through and because of whatever their truth is that represents them. Okay? The need to, in this period of uncertainty, in this period of not knowing how you're going to be received, what's going to happen, the urgent need, because we have the Knight of Swords here, to speak that out with strength, with clarity, and with accuracy. Okay, throat chakra here. Because things are being realigned, all right? Things are being realigned, whether we'd like it to or not. But what I'm hearing is through the power of our voice, through the power of our speech, we have the power, we have the ability to shape how that thing is realigned and where it's going and how it's coming to be. Okay, I'm talking about in society, in your daily life, right, and your daily routines. It is about speaking and being in as much realness as you can possibly be. We have the Prince of Discs show up underneath the Moon card. Now, this is interesting. The Prince of Discs is interesting. There's a couple ways that we could go with this, but it's underneath the Moon card. What I'm really getting with this is that it's important to have a lot of patience in and around situations that you're dealing with, people that you're dealing with, and around speaking and being authentic and taking the step-by-step actions in your own life to lead you where you want to go, in and despite the fact that you don't know where it's going or how it's going to end up. This is about really getting back down to your roots of who you are, how you're connected with the earth, and how you'd like to survive and be and accumulate the things you need to be more of who you are here on earth. Prince of Discs. Allowing yourself the sense of freedom, allowing yourself the sense of release, right? In order to just feel free and okay in your most human self, in your most basic form. And that's part of this release here, right? Because a lot of us here, here's what I'm really feeling. A lot of us here, you know, myself included, we always want to be spiritually good, spiritually ascended, right? In the full amount of light, right? Just constantly in that state. And what I'm hearing here is part of the release or the freedom or not carrying the burden anymore and allowing yourself to fly high is allowing yourself also to feel, right, into the most basic human form that you feel aligned with, right? And releasing the burden of constantly having to have that spiritually ascended part of you activated. I don't know if this is making sense, but what I'm getting here is just by being like taking away the mask of spirituality, right? Whatever that means for you. And just by being basically in who you are on even the lowest of levels and stepping forward and allowing that form of you to allow you to move forward and to eventually to move higher. But what I'm feeling is too, before we can begin to fly high, it's really important to address and to be in the roots of who we are so that we can understand that part of ourselves, and with that understanding, be able to eventually progress where we need to progress. But it's really fast, and I've never gotten a reading like this before. It's all just fresh. Okay, I really have not perceived a reading like this before. But what I'm really getting is like, you know, we've spent so much time up here, kind of, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But the need here now is to kind of let us go down into the human form, to release the burden of not being that. You know what I mean? Or, yeah, to release the burden of not allowing yourself to be that. You know what I mean? Whatever it is for you in that way. Whatever it is that your human self craves to do, craves to have, craves to become in your life, just allowing that to be and releasing the burden of expectation about anything else and allowing yourself to enjoy this part of your life in a way that maybe you haven't experienced because of you wanting to feel and be more spiritual. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I love that part of myself. I love spirituality. I love that. But it's almost like if you allow that to consume you too much, that in that way it can become a burden. And Spirit is saying it's okay to release the burden of that, to enjoy the human part of who you are. That's a part of your experience. Wow. Holy cow. We have the Princess of Discs and the Prince of Discs popping up right next to each other underneath the Moon card. Okay. That's so interesting. So it's almost like there's a match here, right? Divine feminine, divine masculine. It's almost like in order to be able to progress forward with both energies, okay? It's like both are needing to go into the depths of who we are, the roots of who we are, to experience what it is to just be a human in order to progress forward. And I keep seeing this kind of dip, and then coming back up into the peak. Okay, but this peak, this flying, isn't able to happen unless we allow ourselves to really experience the depths of what it means to be a human, and even those material pleasures, okay, that we once might have avoided. And we have the Six of Pentacles showing up here on the last row. Wow. Interesting. What I'm hearing and understanding right now is that this is a part of equalizing. Oh, wow, this is making so much sense. This is a part of equalizing, all right? Because we have the adjustment card here, right? We have balance. We have justice, stands for justice, right, in this deck. And the justice card is about things balancing out, things coming together, right? Things evening out in the way that they can karmically. And so it's like in order for you listening right here, for all of us to get on the same page, we are now being called to release the burden of staying up here in the clouds and coming back down into our roots to experience what it really is like to be human, releasing the burden of everything else just for this moment. I know, and I realize how crazy this might sound to the crowd that I'm speaking to, and even to myself as I'm saying this. I'm like, what am I saying right now? I'm saying to release the burden of spirituality, but that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing right here. That's what I'm seeing. It's interesting, right? And it's almost like because we have the Prince and Princess of Discs here, right? In order to be able to match and to come into balance with our union, our partner, the other energy, the divine feminine, divine masculine, to come into balance, we have to be able to allow ourselves to experience the basest form of human desire and needs and necessities in order to then rise up together. So what I'm feeling here is there's this big reset, this release of the burden of spirituality. And we've been up here, right? Let's say we've been up here in terms of spirituality. Someone else in terms of spirituality has been down here. Let's just say the masculine, feminine, okay? Again, I'm not pointing to anyone in particular. I'm just saying feminine, masculine energy in terms of spirituality, spiritual knowledge, okay? Not saying one's better than the other at all, because the other energy has a lot of knowledge and capabilities that the divine feminine doesn't or the divine masculine doesn't. So you guys get it. But in terms of spiritual knowledge and awakening, okay, it's been like this. And what's being asked of this collective audience that I'm channeling for is to allow yourself to come down here to meet this other energy where it is, to then be able to rise up. And so it's the burden of releasing the need to stay up here in the clouds, to be able to meet the other energy where they're at in order to bring them up at the same time where we all need to go. I don't know. Does this making sense to everyone? This sounds crazy to me. This sounds so crazy to me. I can't even believe I'm saying this. It doesn't even sound like it's insane. So whatever that means for you, okay, in terms of allowing yourself to really experience the human side of yourself, that could be desires, material pleasures, sexuality and sexual pleasures, right? Just carnal desires and pleasures, whatever it is. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to destroy you. And it's not going to take you off the path of spirituality, because we have cultivated, if you're listening to this, right? You've cultivated the light so much and so strongly, and your faith in what really is so strongly, that you are now allowed to experience the quote unquote darker sides of the human experience, because you won't get lost in there anymore. You know that there's more to the human experience. So you're not stuck in it. Is this making sense? Okay. But we are being asked to explore that a little bit in order to equalize things out. Okay. Because then, again, Six of Pentacles here showing up, we have, it's equal give and take. It's equal give and take here. So, yeah, if we want to be able to receive in the ways we want to receive, we have to be able to give in the ways that the other energy opposite of us would want to be able to receive as well. Okay? All right, let's keep going. We have the World card, the Power card, we have the Eon, the Judgment and Death card, and the Fool card. Yeah. So the World card pops up underneath the Knight of Swords here. And this World card is significant in the way that the world right now, the state that it's in, the need that we're hitting right now to be able to progress and to move forward, it is important. Spirit is saying very strongly, okay, the need to speak up, the need to speak your truth, the need to be in that way of alignment. And what I'm feeling too is that the best way to be able to do that, to impact the most people, is actually to be able to do that in a very grounded, human-like way. Not to come at it from a perspective of, let's all just be in the light and be spiritual buddies together, right? But, hey, no, let's go this way. It's the best for everyone, and it makes a lot of practical sense. Okay, so it's allowing yourself the freedom and the ease of that type of communication without the burden of anything else. The Four of Pentacles here shows up. Underneath Judgment. And then we have the Judgment card. I'm sorry, Justice. And then we have the Judgment itself card underneath the Prince of Discs. So what's interesting here is there's an element of holding on to what we think we have that makes us feel better about ourselves. Holding on to what we think makes us feel higher than another person, right? The need to release that. The need to be free in that and who we really are, okay? Because there's a sense here, there's a feeling of, oh, if I let that part of me go, I don't know if I'll be able to feel good about myself anymore. I don't know if I'll be able to feel like a better person, all right, than other people around me. And it's releasing that fully, okay? Because the truth is, again, all right, when you allow that to be released, when you allow that to be opened up, when you allow yourself to morph into, with these winds of change, wherever and whatever they want to take you into, that allows things much more quickly to open up. It's almost like, this is so interesting what I'm getting, okay? Because there's the opposite energies here. There's one energy here that's, again, more spiritually ascended, an energy that's much more grounded, yeah? The energy that's really grounded, whether it's masculine or feminine, whatever you're relating with, that's the energy that has a lot of resistance holding on to ascending spiritually. And the more spiritually ascended energy, you can call it the divine feminine if you want, has a lot of resistance to getting grounded. You guys, is this making sense? So if you're listening here, it's again allowing this to be balanced in a way where you release your resistance to coming back down to earth, and that allows for the other energy, the masculine, to release their resistance to coming up a little higher in terms of their spiritual ascension. So that's why this is showing up. I didn't, truthfully, this is all off the cuff. I didn't understand these. I'm like, why am I telling people to engage in their carnal pleasures? It's because that's the human experience. It's because that's actually real life humanness. And that's actually, and I'm seeing 444 average watch time. And, that's actually what it's going to take, ironically, to balance things out. Okay, if you're listening to this, because, primarily I'm talking to the people. If they're watching, a spiritual live show, they're probably more into spirituality than the average person. Now, in the center of the reading, we have the Eon, which stands for the Judgment card, okay, with the Prince of Discs. Now, again, what I'm seeing here, really, this is not just, okay, there's a couple messages here, right? The first is, the reason why Spirit's allowing this to happen is because you have a higher self, you have a higher cultivation of yourself that will actually guide your way through, right, what Spirit wants you to do on the earth itself in terms of engaging in a way that's more free, more grounded, and more human. And that higher self, right, that you know about, that you're aware of, will always lead you back to where you need to go. And this is your higher self. If you've been feeling the need to do these types of things with your own life, this is Spirit saying, yes, this has been guided for you to really allow yourself to engage in that grounded way of being. Okay. And when I say that, it's interesting. The burden that I've been talking about really gets released. So Spirit's getting really clear with how to release the burden that we've been feeling, the spiritual, quote unquote, spiritual burden. And that is by, right, engaging with our Prince of Discs energy. Also, the other message that comes through with Judgment here is it allows you to release the judgment, right, the labels, the descriptions, the connotations that you have with just engaging with basic human desires and needs here on earth. And you got to experience that in order to see more so like the other side, right, the other energy. You have to experience that to see their side. Both sides right now are switching places to see and understand the perspective of the other. And once that's complete, there can be a coming together and a union. All right? Samsara. So she says more free, more grounded, more human. Never thought that grounded and free. I totally agree. Which is why I was confused with my own reading. I'm like, how is this making sense? I thought more spiritually ascended is more free. And in some ways it is, right? But think about this in your own life and your own experience, right? If you, let's say we did a bunch of meditation work. All right, let's say we spent years of meditation, raising our vibration, okay, doing the work internally, okay? We're vibrating at a high level, right? We're like close to the angels. No, just kidding, because they're way higher than us. But we're at the higher end of spectrum of human vibration, right? It's like angels and ascended beings up here, humans, and then lower vibrational entities, the devil, things like that, right down there. So we've done a lot of work. We're up here, okay? The human spectrum, by the way, let's just show this. It's like, so here's angels. I don't know if you guys can see this on the screen. I'm just going to wait. Okay. Yeah, here's angels, and then here's the human experience. It goes from here to here, all right? So I'm doing this little wave back and forth, and then lower vibrational down here, yeah? So we're at the higher end of the spectrum of that vibration. Once you gain that higher end of the spectrum, by nature, because you're in a human body and you're going through a human experience, nature tends to pull you back down into your body, into the earth, into these grounded experiences that aren't vibrating as high, because that's what the human life and human experience is. Yeah? But because it feels so good to have a higher vibration, we just tend to want to stay there, right? We don't want to go back down because we know it's just harder. But the key is balance. As I keep seeing here on TikTok, the key is balance and being able to harmoniously flow back down and back up where and when we need to go. And particularly back down when our counterparts are existing solely at that lower vibrational way of being, because then we can bring them back up with us. Is this making sense? Because the whole goal overall is to bring everyone up with us how and when we can. But sometimes in order to do that, you as a high vibrational being need to allow yourself to come down to meet people where they're at in order to bring them back up. It's so interesting too, because this was, Abby says the high vibration is addicting. Now I'm understanding what you're saying. Truly, Abby, I didn't understand what I was saying till now too. I'm like this is crazy, but it is addicting. It is addicting, and I can think of things in my own life where I'm like, well, I worked so hard to get so high vibration, quote unquote. I don't want to go back down there. But that's kind of what I'm seeing here in terms of what the next steps are for us. So if and when that opportunity comes, allow yourself to be engaging in that. Okay, is the message. Let's go for the final row here. Wow. And speak. So we have the Sun card popping up. All right. The Queen of Pentacles. The Four of Wands. Wow. This is so good. So I'm just going to start with the middle card on the last row. The Four of Wands popped up. Now, if you guys are watching this, chances are that you want a healthy, happy, celebratory home life, okay, or to build a home, or to engage in that celebration, in that love, right? Now, again, part of the work to doing that, because we've done the high vibration work, right? We've been in our spirituality, our highest essence. Part of the work of going back down now is to actually build step by step, tangibly, practically, the way forward to be able to cultivate and to build that home. A lot of us listening right now, for whatever reason, I'm sensing the center row here in our heart space is the desire to exist in and be in that healthy, happy home life with a family, with that person, right? To engage in family, to engage in potentially children, to engage in marriage, to engage in love fully. That home, right? I believe the collective I'm channeling for that's the center of this love. And so what I'm feeling here is part of the reason to go back down in terms of that vibration or that experience is to do the work necessary step by step to lay the foundation freely of that home life. Okay? Because that's when, now that we're kind of quote unquote free, or we've released the burden of staying fully in that higher vibrational place, we can just go. We can just go and do the things we've been needing to do on the earth to just build this thing. That's the free part of this. It's like sometimes in spirituality, you know what I mean? You're so busy meditating or healing or praying or manifesting, right? All these things that you don't do as much of the physical step-by-step work, right? But now is the time to be able to have the freedom to do that. Now, the Sun card comes up underneath the World card and the Knight of Swords. Okay? So, quite simply, right, with the Sun card, because this is illumination. This is illumination, freedom, inspiration, and happiness. And so what I'm feeling here is the way forward is through speaking. Speaking the truth in the way that you want and need to speak it leads to that sense of freedom, joy, and happiness. The way forward is through speaking. The way forward is through speaking communication here. For the world, to the world, with the world. Engaging fully yourself and your energy with the world, no matter what that means. Part of what that means is being on the level of the world, vibrationally, right? It's not being up here and saying, oh, we need to do this. No, it's being in it, being with it. Seeing and feeling all the drama that's happening, all the chaos that's happening, and kind of like sneaking your way in a little bit, right? Sneaking your way into that in order to be a source of the light. Now, let me just share a little metaphor that I I was watching on YouTube the other day, and it's going to sound silly, but This is crazy. So the Chinese government turns out that they have hired. They're called the CCP. All right, this isn't a conspiracy or anything. You can go. It's been proven. People have made many YouTube videos on it. But the Chinese government has hired a force of people to go into YouTube and to infiltrate the videos that talk badly about the Chinese Communist government and to flag them and to comment on the videos that the Chinese government is actually a great place and there's nothing wrong with it. So the Chinese government hires regular people that look and sound like regular people, make YouTube profiles, go onto YouTube and to comment on videos that derail the Chinese government to say the Chinese government is actually a good place. So what just came to me here is that that's exactly what we have to do, is that we have to go and infiltrate, okay, as a part of the society we're living in, to be engaged fully in that in order to speak the real truth that people need to hear. I'm talking about being on Instagram, okay, and posting in the way that other people would post or resonate with, but in a light worker-ish way, right? Not engaging with the drama and the darkness and all that crap, but it's almost like melding in so that we can then help the world pivot and bring the world back up. I hope this is making sense to you guys. I hope, because the world right now, again, if there's a vibrational difference here, right, it's like that's not gonna, it's harder to interact and to bring, right, people to that level by being at that level. It's almost like coming down with it. So anyways, the Sun card pops up, coming into union here with everyone. The Queen of Discs. Look at this, is so funny. The Queen of Discs, okay? So, and you know, it's funny. We had the Prince of Discs show up, and now we have the Queen of Discs here, okay? Now, the Queen of Discs represents the epitome or the essence of someone who's been able to cultivate the grounded reality, all right, to become the queen of their, right, powerfully the queen, or step into their highest grounded reality and cultivate the strength, the independence, the clarity, okay, and it's just the epitome of knowing who you are on a human level, the Queen of Discs specifically, the Queen of Pentacles. So we're evolving here because most of us, again, aren't used to that grounded reality from the Prince of Discs into the Queen of Discs. And that is what is balancing things out. Because as you progress into what I'm hearing, the Queen of Discs, right, the counterpart energy progresses into more of the King of Cups. Interestingly. Yeah. Okay. So it's back and forth here. We talked about Four of Wands. We have the Hierophant. I said King of Cups. Hierophant was the second on my lips. Here it is showing up in the last row here. So right across from each other, we have the Queen of Discs and the Hierophant card. So again, right, this is masculine, feminine energies progressing in the ways they need to progress. The feminine coming from her place of spirituality into the grounded Queen of Pentacles, stable, independent, progressive, earthly reality queen. And then the Hierophant card, the masculine energy, progressing upwards in terms of his spirit. It's right here in terms of his spirituality. This for me confirms it. And it took all the way to the end of the read and me trusting in this to confirm that, by the way, because I didn't know where this was going. But I can see it very clearly now. All right. Is that the Queen of Discs and the Hierophant? This is the match that is coming in, that is progressing in the masculine and feminine energies right now. Okay. So the masculine ascending spiritually, the feminine ascending, you could say ascending, I don't know what, ascending in terms of their groundedness, we'll say. All right. And of course, we have right above the Hierophant card, we have the Death card. And above the Four of Cups here, we have the Fool card. So allowing yourself really the experience of what I've been talking about. Okay. And this is the scarier part for a lot of us, is allowing that to happen. This is the moon card energy for a lot of us, right? What I'm saying here, which sounds so foreign, so unknown, so different here in terms of spirituality, even to myself as I'm speaking it, this is where we come into the leap of faith energy, the Fool card, and trusting in that. Trusting in that, okay? And these will come in, Spirit's saying for me to clarify, these will come in the form of certain instinctual urges you might have or feel that you want to do. That's it. Things that you would have otherwise denied yourself of doing, okay, because of your sense of wanting to keep a high vibration or spirituality. Things that will be more instinctual that you will feel the urge to do in any area of your life, okay, as long as it's safe and responsible. Those are the things you're actually being encouraged to do right now. And that's how you'll know what to do. And that's what will feel, that's what will give you that feeling of freedom and release that I'm talking about. So if you guys haven't felt that yet, that's the next direction of where to go. Okay. So doing that, again, allows a couple things. It allows you and us to all engage with the rest of the earth in a way that where we can kind of infiltrate in secretly as light workers and bring everyone to the right direction, trusting on and believing in our higher self to guide the way, even when we are in fully the human experience that we are here for, allowing ourselves to progress into the Queen of Cups energy, okay, stable, sacred, highest earthly presence, okay, but earthly, which will all allow us to take those next tangible, practical steps towards building and laying down the foundation we need to build and create a home life with our counterpart, with family, with our future. And I just want to say this because it is in the middle row and I'm feeling it very strongly. If you're watching this, a home, specifically a home, is coming to me. That is the next step of what's destined for you. A home, your dream home life. Okay. But this is all the kind of the work that's happening before we can get to that. Final outcome energy. Queen of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Two of Swords. Now, interesting. While all this is happening, Queen of Cups, Six of Cups, and Two of Swords here. While all this is happening, while the burden is being released, while we are being free to explore our earthly desires, our carnal pleasures, our earthly self, our human self to the max, to the fullest here, the Queen of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Two of Swords pops up. So this is still, all right, a choice or a hesitancy, potentially, of staying in our hearts, staying connected to, right, that love that we feel for and within a situation, or staying connected to our hearts in general. Now, the thing that I have to stress here, despite everything that I've mentioned, is that the most important thing for you guys to remember throughout this whole reading, this experience you're going to be diving into, is that it is so, so important to still remain open with your heart. Okay? Your heart here is and still will be connected to a person, a situation, okay, something very special and important to you. And what I'm hearing is when you go into engage in this freedom, okay, that I'm talking about, this release of the burden of the situation, of spirituality, all those things, Two of Swords pops up. Now, the card actually says peace. But if you find yourself at a place of not having peace, of restlessness of the mind, of confusion, of overthinking about whether or not you're doing the right thing, the answer here is to reconnect with the energy of the love you have for this person that you have let go of the burden of, or the situation, and to still continue to find peace within that. That is your answer for peace. That is your main answer for peace, is still allowing yourself to reconnect to the love you have, to have that open heart, to have that opening here of and for love through and within the situation for this person. Because this is talking about the divine masculine, divine feminine, right? This was, again, a channeled for a highest good reading. This didn't, it wasn't necessarily for love. But what I'm sensing here is the evolution of the masculine and feminine energies here. Okay? And the paths that they're going on, where and how they're progressing, and what that's coming to be able to create. Because again, look at this. This is beautiful. In between, how it's showing up is in between the Hierophant and the Queen of Discs. See if you guys can see this. Right? In between the Hierophant and the Queen of Discs is the Four of Wands. So this is the way forward to create the dream life, the dream home situation that you've always wanted, that you can see and are having visions of and intuitions of and downloads of in your mind. This is what it's going to take to create it. Okay, this is the path we're on. But always, always, always still stay connected to deep down inside the love you have for your counterpart here in this situation. And that's how you will find peace. Okay, Six of Cups, Queen of Cups, and Two of Swords. Bottom of the deck, of course, we have the Two of Wands. All right, so again, allowing yourself to imagine the possibilities here of what you'd like to create, how you'd like to create, what fun, what desires, what experiences you'd like to have on earth in your humanist self that you haven't allowed yourself to have in a long, long time because of that high vibrational being. What would that be for you? And how would that exploration take place? And how will you allow yourself to feel the release of that burden, that freedom to be able to move forward? Because that will bring you forward into the next steps is what I'm hearing. Let me know in the chat. And don't get too graphic, please. All right. All right. Cool. All right, let me check in with the chat because that was quite a bit, and that was a little bit of a, I would say, unusual reading. Sober Girl says, I'm ready, chosen and blessed. Games are over, and we have life to live and to learn. I love that. Clem says, the song, The Greatest Love of All, Whitney Houston, helps a lot to feel good within yourself, full of self-love. I love that. I'll check that song out for sure. Chosen and blessed has to be an emperor this time. No pages, no knights, an emperor. I love that. Sober Girl says, my heart is wide open. Amazing. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I'm sorry. It says ascendant in terms of groundedness. I totally agree. So let me do a quick pause and check in here with everyone here, because I totally forgot to do this in the beginning. I should have made these announcements in the beginning. But quick transition here before we jump into the astrology. TikTok, if you're watching here, we're about to jump into the astrology live now. That was the channeled collective for the highest good general reading about the masculine and feminine energies, the paths that we're on, where we're going, and the general advice Spirit wants us to know. Interestingly, we have the dichotomy here of, right, flying high with the channel messages and coming in to be grounded, but the ascension in terms of descension. I think someone in the chat put it really well. Kind of funny. But before we get into if you guys want to watch the charts live, you guys got to hop onto YouTube, okay? Because I'll have the chart on there. But what I want to say is, if you guys want to go deeper here with Science of the Soul and Stars, you want to be more involved, you want to get do some work with us. There's a couple things happening I want to share with you as a shameless plug. So number one, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. All right. We are going to be doing a live meditation, a mythological story, and an astrology breakdown, okay, in a different way than today. And that is over at mendeverymind.com/events. This is a live Zoom virtual meditation we're doing, I believe, if not every single week, pretty often here. But it's tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST. The The registration is in the description box below. I think it's in the bio in TikTok here. And I think it's like $12. So it's one of the most amazing events that myself, my good friend Maura at Mend Every Mind, and Alexis have been co-creating together. And it's been fantastic. So again, we start off with a meditation that gets us grounded into the realities, the energies of what is going on now. We go into a mythological story in perfect alignment with the astrology for the lessons, the stories we need to know about what's going on. And then, of course, we finish out with the astrological breakdown in alignment with the meditation and the stories. So that's 6 p.m. PST, Pacific time, tomorrow night. And a link for that to register, again, it's $12. You'll be live on Zoom with all of us. We'll take questions, things like that at the end. You can register in the description box below. Maura, I believe, was or is still on the chat here on YouTube. So Maura, if you're here, say hi. She's at Mend Every Mind. She's one of the most amazing mediums and psychic channels I've ever experienced. She does home blessings. She does energy cord cutting. She does removal of negative entities. And she's now offering all of that at a really good price. So Maura, if you're here, say hi. Let everyone know you're here. And you can go check them out at mendeverymind.com. They're some of my best friends, total soul fam, and help me step into the gifts you're seeing here today that I've been speaking about. So check that out. There she is. Okay, so she's under Mend Every Mind and should be in the description box below. And we'll go from there. So anyways, let's hop into the astrology. You're welcome, Maura. And we will... last couple announcements. Personal sessions for myself. If you guys have been wanting a personal reading, either for your astrology chart, for a tarot reading, or a channeled Akashic reading plus tarot, those sessions are now available for January 2021. I had to close down because I had so many people having requests. I needed to close down. So I opened back up for a limited amount of personal sessions this month. I'm doing a total of 40. There's already, I think, 3 or 4 people who've signed up in a day. So the list for that, or to sign up, the instructions will be in the description box below. If you guys do want a personal session, a personal reading with me, you'll get pricing and instructions and details in the description box below or in the bio in my TikTok. So you guys can check that out. And then, of course, last thing I'll say is Patreon, of course, is always available to you guys. That's if you guys want to be fully engaged personally with me and a like-minded community, learning our astrology charts. I actually teach you on a weekly basis how to read your astrology chart, how to read the tarot, and you guys get to just hang out and ask me questions, have personal access to me as part of the Patreon community. So that's also in the description box below or in the bio in TikTok if you guys want to go check that out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the astrology, okay? And see what's going on with that. Before we do that, I got to take a sip of the cacao. Maura knows this is ceremonial grade cacao from Peru. It's absolutely delicious and opens the crap out of your heart. So if I get a little woozy or a little too heartfelt and too heart opened, let me know, guys. I'll slow down on the cacao. All right. So charts are up. If you guys are on TikTok, you want to see the charts, check out YouTube. Okay. And let's go ahead and get this going. So what we're going to do, guys, today is the 10th, I believe. Yeah, 10th of January, 2021. We're just going to look at this week ahead so you guys know what's going on with the stars, what to expect, and any information that would be relevant to you in terms of love or in life. So as we speak, 3:49 p.m. Pacific time, January 10th, 2021. What are some major alignments going on here? Well, as you can see, right, Sun is in Capricorn making a conjunction to Pluto here. So this is really what I'm feeling here, and it's in Capricorn, by the way. So this is, again, a very It's a transformation related to our grounded reality. All right. Pluto, interestingly, corresponds to, right, the sacral depths of our body, our sexual energy, the root of our soul, of who we are, conjunct Sun in Capricorn, right, and a grounded Earth sign. So, and again, I did not review this before hopping on here, but now I can see what Spirit is really saying in terms of the transformation we're going through, in terms of being okay with and more aligned with a grounded way of being, our sacral roots of who we are, and being okay with that. Now, here's what's interesting here. Of course, we still have Uranus conjunct Lilith, which I always talk about Lilith here in Taurus. So look at this. I mean, Mars, that makes so much sense, guys. Mars just went from Aries into Taurus. Okay, so Mars here in Taurus, again, Earth sign, grounded reality, okay, moving forward in a new light, in a new way. Uranus conjunct Lilith. And these planets all making squares over to Saturn in Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius here, interestingly. This is about rules of the new reality. Okay, this is where I'm really getting the need to speak up, who we are, what we want, and what the truth is here. Okay, coming into friction with the need for Saturn in Aquarius here to come up with these progressive rules of restriction that do not allow us to feel fully embodied in the sense of who we really are and our sense of freedom. Okay, how many guys are sensing this with the changes going on in the world right now? It's tending towards the need for a muting, okay, a muting or restriction of the expression, okay, Uranus conjunct Lilith here, of who we really are. Square Saturn in Aquarius. So when I say things are being balanced out karmically, things are being not just balanced out, they're being decided karmically. They're coming into a new way of being right now, the essence of it, now and in the future, progressively. And we have the opportunity to help that decision along, to help create, through the embodiment and expression of who we are and what we want, the new reality that's coming. Okay, so this isn't just something, that's happening to us. It's happening so that we can feel, right, that grounded sense of real involvement in everyday reality here on the earth of what's happening. It's a very important time. Very, very, very important time. And we need everyone's engagement fully. Right? Remember the Chinese individuals who were hired by their government to infiltrate the realities of YouTube to try and sway people to believe something different than what they actually were believing. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about as light workers, as people who are of high vibration, infiltrating in to be able to speak and represent the earth in a way that is for everyone's benefit, okay, tangibly. So this is our current reality here at January 10th, where we see ourselves at the start here. We've got Chiron in Aries still at 5 degrees. Okay, darn you, Chiron in Aries. I'm in Aries. I've been going through so much healing, so many wounds that have been opening up. Okay. But it is making a trine here to Juno. Okay. So yeah, the good news here is part of that sense of freedom that I keep sensing that's opening up, or the release of the burden of the weight of someone or something else to allow us to be fully who we are and to engage in the world we want and the way we want to engage. That's Chiron trining Juno here, because the release of that burden to allow ourselves to really experience boldly, with lightness and freedom, who we are and what we actually want. With Aries here, impulsively, not impulsively in a bad way, but impulsively in a way that there's no restrictions. There's no sense of restriction. That here, right, in trine with Juno, here in Sagittarius, part of us may believe that in order to have or to cultivate this union, this relationship, or to bring in our person, we need it to be of this perfect high vibrational being. But it really, right now, it's a sense of freedom. It's a sense of freeing yourself from the burden of having to make it happen, the burden of needing to make it happen, and the burden of not knowing whether or not it's going to happen and worrying about it, right? How many of you guys find yourself in that space? It's not about that anymore. It's about releasing that. And it's about allowing also through your sense of freedom and expression and the movement, right? The flying of who you are and where you want to go, through that expression of yourself, allowing, okay, any union or partnership to come in to you because of that. Okay. So have some fun. That's what I'm hearing. Have some fun. Have some fun with yourself. Whatever that is for you. Okay. I had a vision, interestingly. I am a guy, and guys tend to like fast sports cars. And I had this vision. I've been having this vision very strongly. And I saw a video on this of a bright blue, brand new convertible 2021 Chevy Corvette. And I'm like, I want that car. You know what I mean? I was like, I want that car. And I'm going to get that car. And I'm going to go up and drive, up and down PCH and just feel free. You know what I mean? I'm talking about those types of things. And then using that as motivation, right, to build something or to build towards that in a way, right, that's progressive. So that's what I'm talking about when I say allow yourself to enjoy. Okay, all these things, the sense of freedom. Now, we also have the moon conjunct the south node here, making a square to Neptune, making a square to the north node. I'll be honest, lots of squares here, right? Lots of squares here. So there is a lot of need for release because of all the friction that we're feeling here. Now, a lot of this, and this makes perfect sense, moon conjunct south node, square Neptune and Ceres, okay? We don't feel like we can love ourselves unless we're in the highest vibration of spirituality or in the depths of the consciousness of Neptune at the highest level, right? The belief here, Sagittarius, South Node, conjunct the moon, our deep emotional belief is that we can't love ourselves or feel fully aligned with ourselves unless we are in, this is for some people, right? Some of the population, but unless we are in this highest essence of vibration. Making another square over to North Node in Gemini here, right? So it's the need for releasing that. It's the need for releasing that and really embracing the energy of Chiron in Aries trine Juno, okay, which is that sense of freedom from burden, freedom to be yourself, the engagement of who you really are on a human level, okay? Uranus conjunct Lilith with Mars, all in Taurus, square Saturn. The engagement in order to help create from a very grounded level the reality that we want to experience. Moving forward, let's see what else happens here. On January 11th, now this is 111, so I have to stop on 111. 1/11/2021. Okay. 1/11/2021. We have Lilith and Uranus making trines, and Mars, by the way, making trines over to Venus, and Venus conjunct the moon in Capricorn. Talk about a grounded way of being. Talk about freedom, harmony, and balance. Coming into balance with ourselves emotionally within our hearts in a very grounded way. Increasing our sense and our value of within ourselves, of how we look at ourselves in terms of the value of what it means to be on the earth, grounded in the human experience. Venus conjunct the moon in Capricorn. Trine, the most harmonious energies of what we can go through, the flow of what we can experience. Uranus conjunct Lilith, conjunct Mars in Taurus. So it makes 100% total sense here. It makes 100%. Now, this is an emotional expression or way of being here with the moon here in Capricorn and Venus. Okay. Finding the harmony within ourselves and the acceptance of who we are, what we want to express, and the freedom to pursue our earthly desires, our needs for material possessions, our need for carnal desires, and our need for our earthly pleasures that exist within us on a human level. January 11th, 1/11/2021. The shift into freedom. The shift into freedom here. Now, the other thing that's happening here that's very important that I can't miss is Jupiter making a square over to Uranus and Lilith. But more significantly, Uranus, because these are two major planets making a square here. Jupiter in Aquarius conjunct Mercury making a square to Uranus in Taurus. This is uncertainty. Not to mention Neptune and Pisces with Ceres here, still making a square over to the North Node. Also making a square to the South Node. So when we want to talk about uncertainty, feeling the sense of not knowing what the heck is going to happen next, Uranus and Neptune are the essence of not knowing what the hell is going to happen as or how we step forward, the essence of uncertainty, right? But allowing yourself more so to be and feel free on the ride of life that life wants to take you on right now, and stepping forward in and despite any fear or uncertainty you might feel, right? That's why the moon card came out in that first collective reading, okay? Because the way Jupiter, for our highest essence of happiness, of receiving abundance, of joy, of luck, of prosperity, Jupiter in Aquarius here, new potential surprises. Really, what I'm sensing is a progression here, a progression of amazing, surprising, joyous abundance and bounty and good things coming in, right? Square Uranus over here in Taurus, that is through the acceptance and the allowing of the uncertainty that exists in your life and moving forward with that. So if there's any area that feels like you don't know how it's going to progress, that you don't know or you're not aware of the future, something that you can't predict or land down in on, that's the thing to trust fully and to move forward through and within it no matter what. Jupiter in Aquarius, square Uranus in Taurus. That is the thing. Okay. Now again, the square here with friction represents basically we want to know. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to know how it's all going to end up being. We want to know where it's going to end up going and how it's going to turn out. But I'm telling you, the real joy, the real fortune, the real surprises. In fact, what I'm hearing is the joy is in the surprise of it all during this period. If you can accept that the universe is here, wants to give you the biggest surprises of your life, the biggest gifts of your life, should you only allow yourself to trust in what it's attempting to bring to you right now during this period of time, that will be one of the biggest surprises and pleasures and experiences of joy you'll ever have in your entire life. If you can trust the essence of Uranus, which is not knowing or really caring, by the way, how it's going to turn out. Big, 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 big alignment here. And that's on 111. So 111 is about letting go of the reins, truly, truly, fully letting go of the reins of the thing in your life that you feel yourself wanting to have or hold on to most control over. All right, letting go of those reins. And moving forward in the way that just feels right for you, that feels good to you in that moment, and trusting the rest. Life will give you the biggest surprise of your life here if you can allow that to happen, if you can let go of the control here. Big one. Big, 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 big. Actually, also 4 Pentacles showing up here, right? Underneath the Justice card in our original tarot reading. That's about control. And the balance here karmically is letting go of control. Okay, so I do believe that the feminine here, the feminine energy is letting go of control. All right, let's move forward here. That's amazing. That's probably going to be the biggest alignments all week. Although, hold on here. We do have I can't forget this. I can't skip over this. Oops. We have a new moon coming up. Let me get the exact time here. On January 12th, around 8 p.m. Okay. We have a new moon in Capricorn. Wait a minute. There we go. I'm sorry, 9:04 p.m. Pacific time. New moon in Capricorn. Okay, that's when the moon is conjunct the sun here. Also conjunct Pluto. All in Capricorn, making massive squares to Lilith, Uranus, and Mars, as I spoke about. So what I feel here that's happening, okay, with the start of this new moon, is the start of from now until this new moon that's happening here on the 12th, okay, this is the end of releasing the things we felt that we needed to control or to have control over or felt burdened or weighed down by, that we need to release to be able to just engage and trust fully. Those are the things that are continuing to be released until the 12th. Once the 12th hits, okay, now, right, that ability to fly forward and to engage and everything that the channel message came through, that's when this happens. That's when you really have the feel for this, if you can allow yourself to really feel free in who you are fully. But that's also where this new cycle begins too, of allowing the gifts, right, all of the gifts that life wants to bring to you and to give to you. That's when that starts to come in fully here, or the start of it by you flying. What I'm seeing here too is that as you start to fly, as you start to release, as you start to move forward in that way, the more and more prosperity and the more gifts come to you through that process here. The more you let go of the control, the more you engage in that uncertainty, right? It's like I'm seeing someone flying, and then like gifts being given along the way, along the path, as you just enjoy it more and more and more. Really, really interesting. It's almost like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much is being given or provided to me by just enjoying the heck out of life, and just letting go of the burden of what I was holding on to or needing to kind of worry about, right, for the last period. So a very new cycle is coming very soon, and starting officially here on the 12th. Okay, let's do one more major point, and then we'll move into the final channeled love reading for you guys. All right, let's see. We're going to go to one day here. All right, what else do we got for this week ahead? So we'll just go to the end of this week, which is the 16th, 17th, right? Today is the 10th. Yeah. So we'll go to the 17th here, and we'll see how this week ends. See if there's anything else major that needs to be talked about. Really the biggest thing that I'm seeing here of note is that by the end of the week, right, 16th, 17th, the moon here lines up with Ceres and Neptune, and we'll be hitting Chiron as well. All right. So yeah, this is about really a huge shift emotionally of being able to have, it's almost like complete a section of love for and within ourselves when it comes to our sense of being free, when it comes to our sense of freedom. So it's like a lot of us, I feel, have been working on that sense of self-love, self-care, right? But now Spirit's asking us to go an even further step into it and to really, through the sense of freedom we have, through the sense of our desires, through the sense of even, the human part of ourselves and what we actually want and what we want to bring in, what we want to do and feel, love of that part of ourselves as well, and to really feel that and to enjoy it, right? Whatever that means for you, to appreciate that part of yourself fully. So it is all about here. And then, of course, with those massive squares. So this is going to be going on for a little while here. These squares from Jupiter to Uranus, conjunction with Mars and Saturn, all this stuff here. All right. But, I do really feel the two themes that are coming to me right here is that as you allow yourself to progress in a way that where you're enjoying life, you're enjoying your sense of who you are, you're enjoying what you are and how you feel and how you want to feel in the world, and you're willing and able to express that in a way that others can relate and is with other people as opposed to above other people, that's really what helps to formulate or to balance things out both collectively in love, but also within society as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close down the astrology now. We'll go back to finish out this reading. But let me just finish up with the, sum up what we got here with the astrology is basically, it's all coming together, right? It's all making sense. But this little chapter in life here, right? I mean, with all these planets in Earth signs, Taurus and Capricorn, right, making conjunctions. We have the new moon coming up in Capricorn. We need to allow ourselves to come into a way of being in alignment with the earth, in alignment with our human selves, with alignment with our human desires, our carnal needs, our material needs, what we actually want, and the joy of that experience, feeling into the joy of that experience, allowing the joy of that experience, and the freedom associated with that experience, trusting and knowing that we are always still in connection with our higher self that will lead us to where we need to go ultimately. But this is the balancing act that's taking place. So it's not like we can just sit up here on our throne and, with our high vibration and wait for everything to balance out. We actually are being called to, with the astrology, with the channeled messages. I mean, you saw I called in the energy of Archangel Michael, Jesus Christ, Mary Magdalene. These are ascended beings saying it's okay. It's okay to come in with the rest of the world, to be in it, to enjoy, and to let go. And through the letting go, allowing yourself to fly higher and to receive, honestly, without what I'm hearing, caring about the outcome, caring about what we thought we wanted or needed, caring about whether that's going to happen because we trust unconditionally in the unknownness of it all, then allowing us to receive the greatest surprises of our entire life and the greatest gifts of our entire life. Okay? So I'm asking everyone here and now, trust in that unknown, trust in who you really are on all levels, deepest levels, human levels. And the more you trust in that unknown and let go, the more you will receive. And the better and greater surprises. And the joy, remember, is in the surprises. Okay? All right. Let me check in, make sure that we're still doing okay in the chat. Thank you guys so much for the support on TikTok, here on YouTube. Sober Girl, I appreciate you saying right. 100, get excited, everyone. Samsara is saying, what do we fear anyway, and why do we pick inadequate partners? I don't get it. Can I ask if I should check my sun, moon, or rising for love? I checked the moon and rising today. They're both completely opposite, but I can resonate with both, so I'm confused. I think we need to believe it ourselves more. Deserve to be happy. You guys are so awesome. Sober Girl says, I will just be my blanket fort until this passes. All right, guys, we're going to jump into the last part of this reading. And this is going to be a channeled love reading, specifically. And then at the end, I don't know if I'm feeling this today, but we will definitely go into the channeled love reading. The Universal Worth Tarot here, the original deck, my first deck that I ever got, I ever received. Okay, and it's been all about love here. And we'll finish up. Now, if you guys, no, I'm not going to call that out. I was going to say if we want to do individual questions, but I'm not really feeling that today. Maybe I will by the end, but I think we're going to go through this channel love reading, and that should be enough information here for everyone to digest a little bit. Hopefully I can keep these reading under 3 hours, because last week, I'll be honest, I was exhausted. I was exhausted. And I could probably say less and give more through the saying less. So, Spirit guides, loved ones, masters, wise ones, angels, and archangels, please allow me to guide and channel for the collective when it comes to love specifically, the love situation formulating here between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and what the collective audience needs to know now and in the future in this love situation. Archangel Michael, the energy of Jesus Christ, the energy of Mary Magdalene, please help guide specifically this love reading for the collective audience. What do we all need to know for our highest good and our highest healing when it comes to love specifically, and the love situation we all find ourselves involved in for our highest good and our highest healing? The Hermit card pops up. Now, interesting to note about this Hermit card, right? This Hermit card is someone who's on their own. This Hermit card is someone who has a lantern holding up right by their head. But the lantern to me signifies shedding and opening up the light for the darkness that they find themselves surrounded by. Walking one step at a time and making sure, fending off any foreign things, snakes here, that lie in front of them. So the snake here represents our earthly temptations, or temptations in general. So here's what's interesting about this card. As you can see, this hermit here, while on their adventure, while having their solo time, is messing around a little bit here with the snake. You see this, right? The hermit is kind of messing around with the snake, curious about it, going, what is this snake here? Right? Our earthly desires and temptations. Going, I wonder if that's for me. I wonder how that would feel. I wonder what that experience would be like. Right? This is us now in love. Okay? Maybe separated, maybe on our own, maybe spending time healing with Source, but also curious about that other side that's appearing to us right now. Bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, by the way. Four of Wands showing up once again. So here we are, the center of our love, the center of our life, the center of our desires and dreams is to create this healthy, happy home. And so what are we doing messing around here with these temptations? Well, that is part of the journey, Spirit is saying. Okay. The Hermit card represents a card of healing, a card of inner exploration. All right. And perhaps now the exploration of the part of ourselves that is the most unknown to us, which is those earthly temptations and desires. Okay. Now, the one caveat that I have to say for this is that the Hermit card, in this card, the Hermit here is, I'm so glad I chose this deck, by the way. There's so much popping out of me already. The Hermit card here, messing around with or exploring the snake, okay, doesn't mean becoming the snake. You guys, it doesn't mean becoming or being fully engulfed in or aligned with the snake. It just means exploring what the snake is about. Yeah, it just means feeling into the snake a little bit, feeling into the essence of that, allowing that part of ourselves to be felt and curious, but not being engulfed by it. Because that would be the devil energy, right? The hermit is not the devil. Ten of Cups. Right here, right away. The thing on our minds, the thing on our hearts, the thing that we desire mostly right now, that is popping up at the forefront of our love reading, of our love consciousness, is what it would take to be in the happiest of happy circumstances, full emotional satiety and satisfaction, and what that would mean for us. What would that mean for you? Who would that be with? What would that mean for you? What is the goal? What is the plan? What is the actions here that would allow yourself to eventually be aligned with that? We don't know, right? We're in the hermit. We're in a state of healing, a state of separation, a state of wondering, a state of curiosity, a state of exploration, really. And that's okay. But that thing that we want, right, that overall destined outcome with the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups here, that hasn't gone away, and it's not going to go away, because ultimately that's where it's coming. Three of Cups here shows up as well. So what we want, where our desires are at, is to come into reconciliation, is to be able to find a way to come together in some way, shape, or form, is to find a way to create the ultimate of emotional satiety and emotional satisfaction here with the Ten of Cups. And with the Seven of Pentacles popping out underneath the Hermit card, this is us examining, reflecting exactly what it is and how it is we want to have this. Tangibly. Okay. This is a period here of reorganization of priorities and what we thought we wanted and what we think we want to what we ultimately do want. Because there might have been a shift around what you realize that you do want in a partnership, in a union, in a marriage, in a life, in a reconciliation. And the Seven of Pentacles here is a reassessment of what we thought we want, what we thought we wanted, and what we actually want, and deciding whether or not we do want that still. The Three of Wands and the Hangman. Okay. So really, really, truly here, okay, getting very clear. What this represents is, if that's what's coming. So what's coming here is, this is clearly a period of reassessment, all right? A period of reflection, a period of healing, a period of getting very clear and precise on the vision that you want to create, that you ultimately want to have, all right? And whether or not it's still meaningful to you, tangibly meaningful to you. Now, what's being asked here with the Three of Wands and the Hangman, is to really, in your mind's eye, in your heart of hearts, to cultivate and to create and to hold that vision, that desire that you want, to have it and to see it clearly with the Hangman here in the Three of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. But to do that in your own space, in your own time, through your own exploration. In fact, it might even take, what I'm hearing, the exploration itself to be able to know, right? The inner exploration of yourself and of the earthly desires you have, to know for sure what it is you want. Just to be sure. Not saying, right, that you're not going to want this, but I'm saying just to be sure that you do. It might take that type of exploration. And that's what the Seven of Pentacles is about. If the Seven of Pentacles is about not knowing how good it is, the thing that you want or have, until you've experienced not having it. Yeah? That's what the Seven of Pentacles is. So this period of exploration within yourself and within earthly desires that exist, it's so that you can explore the other side of what is and what you thought you wanted or what you thought you were, so that you can know just how much and if you really want what you think you want right now. Right. underneath the Ten of Cups, we have the Four of Cups, right? So yes, even though the Ten of Cups is clearly here, first thing on our minds, first thing on our hearts, the Four of Cups underneath it suggests that we are right now in a period where we're being forced to really examine closely, to turn our energy inwards and to ensure, right, and to put it almost through the cooker or the test of time, the test of exploration, the test of space, the test of releasing the burden of this, okay, in order to reallow it to formulate in its own way, in its own time. We also have the Nine of Cups pop up underneath the Three of Cups. I mean, wow, this talk about a period of time where everything that we could possibly want to create, the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Three of Cups here, joy, celebration, dreams come true, marriage, union, with the Four of Cups and Seven of Pentacles and Hangman suggests that's all getting very clear right now, and it's all getting formulated in exactly the right way. And I have a sense of saying that we can't even see it and we don't even know about it right now. We have the Magician, the Knight of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. With the Magician popping up right in the center of the reading. What I'm hearing here is the choice. All right. The essence of this Magician card coming in as the choice is that right now, because there's time, because there's space, because there's exploration, because there's this contemplation, this creates the space necessary to then make the choice for yourself as to whether or not and how you want this to all go and to end up being. Whereas before, maybe there was so little space allowed from you emotionally towards this thing, the essence of what you wanted emotionally, that you didn't really choose it. It kind of chose you, right? It was so strongly embedded in your heart and in your mind that it didn't really allow for a full free choice. It kind of just happened. And so with all the space cards here in the Magician, it's telling me that this reassessment period here, this reevaluation of what you want in your heart space and where you want to go, is so that you can ultimately choose and have that freedom of choice. And through the freedom of choice, really truly be all in to manifesting what you want and to taking a leap of faith towards that. Okay, because after the Magician card is the Knight of Wands, right? So Knight of Wands tells me you now know what you want fully, and you can go towards that full of determination and confidence and without having any doubt or hesitation. And what you want here, okay, towards the Six of Pentacles and the Hanged Man, okay, that relationship of equal give and take, okay, of reciprocal love, of abundance, and of fairness and reciprocity. Okay. And I'm really getting strongly, and I keep having to say this, and, again, maybe it's just me, because I felt my energy shifting dramatically, but I do believe that I'm here to channel for the collective audience that I'm reading for. I do believe that we've been switching. Like the masculine and feminine energies are going through a switch, a change period right now. Because I don't know about you guys, right? But I'm feeling much more so, right, in that masculine energy, in that grounded energy, okay? And kind of going through the phase that the masculine energy was in before this period of time. And I do believe it's because we need to integrate both, right? So it's like we're both, like if you're in a counterpart situation, a love situation, it's like you're going to where they were and they're going to where you were. And that's literally what's happening right now. I could feel it. So these cards that are showing up here, right? Knight of Wands, Six of Pentacles. I mean, this is kind of, this is kind of what, if you're watching this, what you're progressing into, okay, is creating and having that freedom for yourself, the release of the worry or the burden, And again, I felt like someone else has taken it on, right? It's like you're releasing it because you were holding on to this whole time. Your counterpart's now taking it. You can be free and enjoy life a little bit without having to restrict yourself and explore. And now that allows for space for your counterpart to hold on to that burden if they are truly your counterpart. So you guys see what I'm saying? And I didn't see this coming, but we actually have to go through that phase also. We have to go through that kind of phase or space of wanting freedom and to explore and, to kind of just enjoy life that they maybe were in. And now that, now they'll take the responsibility. They'll take the reins here a little bit. I don't know if hopefully this is making sense to you guys. All right, so we have the Two of Swords pop up. We have the Death card. We have the Page of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles here. Interesting. So the final row for me is always final outcome and or context from Spirit about what's going on, or advice from Spirit, actually. Okay, so look at this. The Death card shows up underneath the Nine of Cups and the Three of Cups. The Death card, right? In our collective reading. And then the Two of Swords underneath the Ten of Cups and the Four of Cups. So guys, I'm telling you, this might be a complete release and reevaluation and change or shift in what you thought you really wanted to hold on to, in the need for reconciliation, in the need for your dream to come true the way you thought you wanted it to come true, in the way that you saw it coming true, in your ultimate vision of what could be. It's the need for release of the death of that, of the release of you holding on to that or going back and forth between it. Because we have the Four of Cups on top of, right, the Two of Swords, which is all underneath the Ten of Cups here. And we have the Nine of Cups, Three of Cups with the Death card. Okay? And past that here, we have the Page of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles here. So that's very interesting because the Page of Swords here, right? And I've always talked about this, but the Page of Swords here is really about allowing the mind to kind of freely dictate where we'd like to go, what we'd like to choose, what we'd like to create. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. Okay, so the Page of Swords with Three of Swords pops up. All right. This, I believe, again, advice context from Spirit. This is kind of a warning from Spirit and not a drastic dire warning. But the warning here is this, is that in this reevaluation, let's say we allow our mind or egos to take over and we're like, you know what? Screw that person. I'm going to go be free, do what I want, enjoy life, enjoy all the carnal desires, all these things, run around, not have my heart open, not be connected to my truth, even though I'm enjoying life. What I'm seeing here, right, that's kind of the Page of Swords energy with the Three of Swords, which will ultimately lead to more hurt, and it comes out of the hurt that you may have sensed from, or you may be sensing from, the way that your counterpart was acting in the past. More kind of like a revenge-ish energy is what I'm getting here. So I want to be very clear is that this isn't a time to go out and to match the energy of what you felt your person or your counterpart was in before to get revenge-ish or to just do what they were doing. No, because that will only lead to more heartbreak and more hurt here. But I see that could be a temptation here through this evaluation of time between you two, right? But it's not the answer. It's definitely not the answer. It's not the way to go. And Spirit is warning against that, okay? What I do see here is we have the Ace of Pentacles and we have the Six of Pentacles here as well, all right? is the purpose of this freedom and enjoyment and living life in that way without the burden of what we thought we wanted or how it should turn out exactly, or holding on to what we thought we wanted, right, is a tangible, fresh, new beginning with the Ace of Pentacles showing up underneath the Six of Pentacles. That's what it will lead to. That's what it will lead to. But it's not what I'm trying to share here is there's a difference between, completely losing sight of what it is you actually truly want and just like going out and being completely, free of any need to be connected to it at all, and just enjoying with more freedom in your own life and your own expression of who you are and of what the earth has to offer. There's a difference between those two states of being. And Spirit is saying, find a good balance between them. Yes, you can release the need to have something turn out the way you thought. Yes, you can release the burden of holding on to this thing and trying to make sure it comes into being the way it's supposed to be. Let go of that, right? There's no need. That's where the freedom comes. But don't go so far into it as to just let go of all the responsibility and kind of, in a way, exact revenge, right, against the energies that may have hurt you. Because chances are those energies that quote unquote hurt you, even though, yes, they hurt a lot, and trust me, I know what you're talking about. Remember, I'm going through all of this with you guys. This isn't me just talking at you guys. It's talking with you guys, going through all of this. Chances are that those were the things that you precisely needed in order to heal and to work through the wounds that you may have had in and through this connection and relationship. And there's a need to forgive. Thank you, TikTok. Okay. The High Priestess, final outcome, Six of Wands and the King of Wands. Wow. Wow. And now, guys, the King of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Six of Wands. Both parties having gone through, and by the way, this is absolutely incredible because we have the Knight of Wands here in the reading, progressing into the King of Wands here. Yeah. And of course, we have the High Priestess. And I guess you can count the Page of Swords here, or the Hermit, as where that's evolving into. But again, divine masculine, divine feminine, Six of Wands, new tangible beginning, after each of the sides have progressed into the experiences that they needed to experience in order to raise and evolve that side of themselves. Okay, the High Priestess being the more spiritually aware side, the divine feminine energy, the King of Wands being the divine masculine, passionate, free, kind of free to engage in what you want kind of energy, the freedom there, right? With the Six of Wands being that new beginning. So after both sides going through this transition, this reevaluation, and this engagement in a new experience that they haven't experienced yet in their lives, right? This balancing of the types of energies that each are representing, that is ultimately what will allow, or is the last step towards, the victory and new beginning in union here. So there will be a big shift, guys. I mean, there is and will be continued a significant shift in your perception of your relationship, your love, your counterpart, the way that you are engaging within it. Absolutely. It's going, and what I'm going to just ask for you guys, even if this sounds crazy, even if it doesn't resonate with you right now, even if it's just like wildly out of sync with what you're feeling, when those energies come that are going to ask you to really engage with yourself, with your body, with the earth, with your life in a way that you may have been uncomfortable with before or hesitant or resistant to, know that those are the good energies those are the proper energies to engage with and to explore a little bit. Not become engulfed by, but to explore a little bit in order for the natural progression or the shift, the rebalancing to happen here. Okay? Because what I'm seeing here is the divine feminine is actually now becoming the king of wands energy, and the divine masculine is now coming more into the high priestess energy. You guys see that? That's the progression here. That's the switch. So it's very interesting how Spirit did this. And Spirit did this in the first reading too. It showed us, right? The Hierophant and the Queen of Discs energy. Okay, so both switching, both in separate ways. All right. So, beautiful reading. Beautiful reading. The death of, very strongly, what you thought you wanted, how you wanted it to turn out, the holding on to it having to happen exactly the way that you planned or wanted it to, the burden of needing to make it happen or to have it happen in a certain way, letting all of that go, releasing all of that, releasing the burden so that it can be taken up by someone else or something else, by the divine, by your counterpart, whatever, and letting go and exploring and enjoying life in a way that you haven't experienced before. That whole transition down and then up again will transition into a new tangible beginning, because you both here will have evolved into the versions of yourselves that can perfectly understand each of the other's perspectives, all right, and can both resonate, understand with, and transition into the next stage of your lives together, which, of course, as we know, underneath the deck, reminding us constantly, is a home, is a tangible, practical home. But I will remind you guys, you can't build a home on Earth, or it will be very difficult or very annoying to build a home practically on Earth with someone who, and I'm speaking for myself here too, doesn't know how to build, right? Or to create, or to take the practical steps towards building a home, right? To building a life together, right? Who is so in that place of high vibration where we'll just manifest it all. We'll just allow it all to come together, and we'll sit here meditating. And I love that stuff. That's me, right? But what I've realized is it's a balance of that. It's an integration of utilizing the gifts of that and what we have with taking those practical steps to manifest and create what we want, a home. Because that's where it's coming. That's where it's coming. All right. Well, guys, I'll be honest. That's our love reading, and I truly, the whole time, I'm like, I don't know where this is going. This is very different. I feel very different, by the way. I don't know if you guys can feel that. But the energy of today is just different. It just shifted. It's just something shifted. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going or why, but it's going in a different direction, right? And that's okay, because I'm along for the ride. I invite and hope you guys are along for the ride as well, because we don't know what the heck is coming. We don't know why it's happening. It's uncertain. It's weird. It's different. It sounds weird coming out of my mouth. As I'm channeling, I'm like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be channeling. I'm like questioning myself as I'm talking. I'm like what are these messages? But that's what came through. And I do believe, right? It's and it always helps for me too, by the way. It grounds me when I look at the astrology and I go, oh, yeah, we've got some major aspects. A new moon happening in Capricorn square Mars, Lilith, and Uranus in Taurus. So that kind of makes sense. So let go, let love, enjoy, okay? Embrace a little bit, all right? Explore a little bit the pleasures, the desires, the goals, the things that Earth itself and your body has to offer you, and release the need to be so much in the higher vibrational state that we don't allow ourselves to experience what it's like on the other side. Because knowing that this is necessary both to engage with and to help tangibly the earth in our expression, right? Melding into the rest of the earth to help them as light workers. Low-key spy, infiltrated light workers, okay? To help point people in the right direction. All right, so being grounded is the way. Yes, manifestation and building with your hands. Literally building with your hands. All right, step by step. All right. All right, let me just scroll quickly through the comments here and see if there's any. If you guys have any last-minute questions, I'll answer them or see if we can answer them before we end here. I always like to just check out the chat, make sure you guys are good. Lucia, thank you so much. Samsara, of course, says manifestation building with our hands. Sobergirl says, thanks, Brandon. Abby says, the energy is shifting for highest good step by step with open minds. Absolutely. Open minds. Samsara, letting go and starting new, like the Fool. Yeah, I do sense that the more we allow ourselves to have that sense of freedom that maybe our counterparts were in or wanted to have, of just not being or feeling responsible for any part of a union, the more that they will go into their healing, and the more that we'll be able to enjoy, right, the essence of what they were enjoying. Okay. So I'm sorry, I needed this to heal. Sober Girl, we got this. Man, Samsara, Sober Girl, Abby, you guys are all amazing. Thanks so much for commenting, engaging so much. You guys have made this an amazing live participating here. Hope you guys were all enjoying. And I think that's it. I think that we're just going to let that be what it is. All right. And I'm going to go do and be whatever I need to do. Actually, the sunset looks like it's coming through right now in Marina Del Rey. So I think I'm just going to go and enjoy the sunset and just kind of relax in that. And that sounds really nice. So I'm just going to go do that, have the freedom to do that. So one more shameless plug for you guys. Personal sessions, of course, are now officially open. I'm taking up to 40 clients for the month of January 2021. If you want to get on the list for those 40 sessions, instructions are in the description box below in a Google document. They'll tell you my pricing. They'll tell you my types of sessions, the instructions for that. Mend Every Mind and myself are doing a live event tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And, of course, with my good friend Maura and Alexis. And if you guys want to check that out, we'll be live again tomorrow on Zoom. I think it's $12 to register. You can go register at mendeverymind.com/events. Links also in the description. And we're going to be doing a live meditation to get grounded in these energies, of course. A mythological story told by my good friend Alexis, and then me finishing up with more specific details in the astrology. I don't ever know what's going to come during that event, but it's always different from what came up from today. And then Patreon, of course, if you guys want to go deeper into the science of the soul and stars, be more involved, get to ask me questions on a personal level, and learn how to read your astrology charts and the tarot in the ways that I do it and the way I channel it, you can check out my Patreon page, also in the description box below. And that's all I got for today. So I just want to say I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for being here, for supporting me unconditionally, and for listening to and engaging with this reading for today. I'm wishing all you guys the best of luck in these interesting and uncertain times, and really encouraging you guys to go out and start to build, start to progress, start to feel into the desires of what you have in your bodies and your hearts, and to allow yourselves to have that, to allow yourselves to experience that. Of course, still staying connected to the love in your heart, and not becoming too engulfed by it that you lose yourself in it, but at least experiencing it so you can gain the perspective of what we need to progress during those next steps. All right? All right, guys. Love you guys. I will enjoy the sunset. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.